I'm Pam Hitt. I moved here with my husband and 4 children in the late 90s, actually, yeah, late 90s. And we were in the old church. When we moved here, our youngest was just finished with first grade, so they pretty much lived, well, especially her whole life here. We have 10 grandkids. Our family has grown. Some of our grandsons now are altar servers in other parishes. So it's been a journey. Faith wasn't always an important part of my life. I grew up in a family, unfortunately, where religion and faith was not something that was important. In fact, one of the most prominent memories I have of faith being real was when I was already married and we got the news that my mother was diagnosed with leukemia. I was 24 years old, and when we got the news, my husband Frank said, "Let's pray." And we knelt in front of the couch. I felt so strange, so weird, because I'd never done that before. Spontaneous prayer, faith. And I learned a lot of my faith through him. I was a convert. So that was my earliest memory. From there, it just grew. It just grew. And then with our children, we tried to teach them how important that was in our lives, our faith. Because I came from a background where faith was not very important in daily life, I knew I wanted that to be different for my family, especially with our children. We made sure they went to CCD. We lived overseas in Italy. Our youngest was born there, and wherever we were, we made a point. We went to Mass. If it was Sunday, we went to Mass. And our children went through a period where, for them, I guess it's in their late teens, faith was not an important thing. They had other things that were on their plates. But now, I'm so happy, now that they're older and they have their own families, they are instilling in their children what we instilled in ours. So faith always comes back. Always comes back. Well, the odd thing is, I am not afraid. My faith, for me, I tend to focus on God's will be done. I trust whatever happens, it's His will, and I'm okay with it. So I don't seem to be experiencing any fear. I do know that He expects us to follow the rules and to try to keep ourselves safe. But other than that, I don't have the fear. I would say the best thing that people can do for themselves is to sit down. And sometimes when you pray, I've learned you don't necessarily have to be speaking. You can sit in silence and just listen, be moved. And I think people need to start doing that more. Find literature that you're interested in. If the Bible is too overwhelming for people, I think it's a good idea to pick up some kind of literature or a book that's very moving, something you can get involved in. And I think people need to focus on the good that God is doing in their lives. And that's something I never really had to struggle with. When my mom was taken, when she died from leukemia, just within 3 months of diagnosis. I do remember my faith was at a point to where it was growing. I was in a transitional period, but I didn't blame God. I didn't question God. I accepted that that was God's will, and for me, that was important. From that point, I feel like your faith can grow. You've got to have that foundation.